West Bromwich Albion only just avoided the drop last season. 2 games into this one, where do they find themselves? Back in the basement of the First Division. Well, Swindon Town also experienced that sinking feeling last spring, and they did make the drop out of the Premiership. While the county ground Swindon is the latest venue for Keith Birkinshaw's team, one of 5 successive away games for West Bromwich Albion. The commentator is Alan Parry.
Swindon's World Cup striker Jan Arge Fjortoft today signed a new contract that will keep him at the county ground for another 5 years. The Norwegian, last season's top scorer, has already got 3 goals in 3 games. Swindon keep faith with the side that beat Watford at the weekend, so 2 youngsters, defender Andy Thompson and midfielder Wayne O'Sullivan, retain their places. Gary Strodder is back in the West Brom defence tonight. He's completed a 3-match suspension and replaces teenager Craig Herbert. One other change from the team which lost at Wolves on Sunday sees Mickey Mellon coming in for Bernard McNally in midfield, and both Herbert and McNally are named as substitutes. The referee is Paul Harrison from Lancashire. So it's Swindon, all in red, who get us underway here in very, very wet conditions in Wiltshire. Swindon having started their season with home wins against Port Vale and Watford, with a 3-2 defeat at Tranmere in between. West Bromwich Albion, of course, have played 2 successive away games in the league and drawn at Luton before that defeat against Wolves on Sunday. In fact, West Brom play their first 5 league games all on opponent's territory. Hamilton for them. Eggs up in support. He lays it off instead to Mickey Mellon, who's come back into the side, having been substitute against Wolves at Molineux. Sean Taylor's clearance, picked up by Carl Heggs, and then another firm header by the Swindon defender. Phelan for West Brom. Taylor finding Neil Parsley. Good layoff from Heggs. Plenty of movement up front from West Bromwich Albion. But Ling wins the ball back for Swindon. Didn't keep it for long, though. It was a fine challenge by Taylor to dispossess it. West Brom proved at Molineux on Sunday that they are very good at this kind of football, keeping possession. But it's what they do in the final third of the field defensively and in an attacking sense that matters. They've got a chance here, though, as Darton hits it across the Swindon box. And they certainly looked effective in the attacking third then. And Phelan hits the shot just over the crossbar. What a good start that almost was for West Bromwich Albion. Well, Swindon's defence retreated, and Scott Darton went on and almost punished them, clipping it across the box. It was Taylor who just managed to get it clear. Taylor looking for Fjortoft. Strodder in right behind him, and that's a free kick. He's hugely popular here, Fjortoft. There was a great cheer from the Swindon fans when it was announced on the tannoy that he'd signed his new contract. And he causes real problems for centre-halves here, and that was a really painful blow on the knee delivered by Strodder. Bowden puts it in high towards Taylor, flicked away by Burgess. Beecham, that's a good little ball back in, and Taylor's header produced a fine reaction save from Stuart Naylor in the West Brom goal. John Gorman, who is quietly going about rebuilding the squad here after the disasters of last season in the Premiership. Bowden, O'Sullivan runs loose to Ling. Oh, that's a lovely little ball back in by Ling, and a chance here, and it's goal number 1 for Swindon, and the captain, Paul Bowden, has scored it. However, his joy didn't last for very long. The linesman flagged, and the referee has whistled offside, no goal. Ling setting it up with that beautiful little ball here. And as it was flicked through, it was then that Bowden was adjudged to be offside. O'Sullivan. Oh dear, got caught in possession. And with Bob Taylor around, that's not a situation you want. He's done well here. When perhaps if the ace goal scorer had not tried to be provider then, West Brom might have taken the lead. I expected Bob Taylor to try a shot himself, but he laid it off and gave Swindon a second chance. Well, I think we know the football season's arrived when we see weather like this. Forget the summer, it's a memory. Robinson then, with the forward ball for Fjortoft. Nice bit of trickery in possession. Nyholt gets forward but couldn't win it. Donovan turns it away, but it's good pressure now from Swindon. Bodin. Taylor. Scott got up superbly, and that was an excellent header. And nothing at all from the referee. Beecham furious. I looked for a long moment then at referee Harrison. I really thought he was going to point to the spot as Beecham went down, but he didn't, and that's a controversial moment. Taylor. Darton turning it on and getting it back again from Hamilton. On to Heggs. That's a good-looking ball by Darton, and Taylor's nipped in between the defender and the goalkeeper. That was unlucky. It was well wide, obviously, but his awareness down of moving into the space and causing problems for the goalkeeper. Typical Bob Taylor. Darton lifted it over the young centre-half Thompson, and he got there ahead of Fraser Digby, but turned it wide. Fjortoft looking lively. Couldn't find Robinson then. Darton's clearance. Nyholt. Turned forward by Thompson. Ling was the meat in the sandwich then between those two West Brom defenders. And Thompson does well to make sure that Swindon keep it. Nyholt forward. Over the head of Scott. Chance here! And that was a good save again from Beecham. Stuart Naylor really on his game in the West Brom goal. O'Sullivan gets caught in possession. The West Brom couldn't keep it for long. Bodin with an excellent through ball. Scott finding Beecham. It's a good-looking throw from Ling. Header was superbly saved by Naylor. Well, I think he'd be the first to admit to Martin Ling that heading is not the strong point of his game. But this cross was whipped in with such pace by Beecham that when he met it, it had real power, and Naylor did well. Well, he scored the winner here last Saturday against Watford. He only managed one goal in the whole of last season, Martin Ling. Almost doubled his total here. They're backing off dangerously. Swindon at the other end, and Phelan almost punished him for it. Swindon just retreated, and Mickey Phelan almost found the net. Good save by Fraser Digby. Swindon surely can't afford to give him that much room. Well, it's a bit of an unhappy way to celebrate the signing of a new contract for Fjortoft. He only managed 45 minutes before injury consigned him to the bench. Heggs took it down well, but Robinson was in the right place to take it from him. Now he's been dispossessed. Here he goes again to Heggs. That's a good little reverse ball chance here. Good work by Fraser Digby. And Ling gets it clear. Joey Beecham. That's a foul. Well, the way West Brom's season has started, Keith Birkinshaw would be more than happy, I'm sure, if the scoreline stayed like this, 0-0. O'Sullivan. Bodin's cross. Phelan's there to get it clear again. Donovan. We took a risk, and in the end he's given it away to Robinson. Chance for Swindon. Good save. Well, Robinson denied what would have been his first goal for Swindon by fine goalkeeping from Stuart Naylor. And Donovan had committed the unforgivable sin, really, of racing across the face of his own box and then giving it away. Taylor getting in behind Robinson. That's a useful ball. And Donovan's gone into a good position to meet the pass. That's a corner. Take the kick himself, Strodder, and also Burgess forward. Strodder got the header and it's off the line. O'Sullivan gets it clear. Well, this is the closest we've had to a goal. Donovan flighting it in, Strodder getting up higher than anyone else, and then superbly not clear on the line. I think Swindon want to make their second substitution of the night. Kevin Horlock will come on to replace the 20-year-old Wayne O'Sullivan. Horlock, the former West Ham man, will slot in naturally on the left-hand side of midfield. Thompson now for Swindon. Pumps a dangerous ball into the box, and it was totally missed by Naylor. Unfortunately for him, totally missed by Andy Much as well. Naylor will probably tell you he knew what the outcome was going to be here. I doubt it. Scott up beautifully to find Horlock. Back it goes to Scott. Well, that was the chance for Swindon. And Keith Scott knows that he should have been on target then. It was his header initially that had created the danger. Horlock onto the ball. Lovely little turn there by Much. Scott looked deliberately for the far right-hand corner, but lifted his shot over the crossbar. And Swindon's best chance has gone begging. Well, it's one of those nights. Who would be a football manager? The rain falls, chances have gone, and it looks like they're going to have to settle for a point now, Swindon. Good lay-up there from Beecham. Still an opportunity for Swindon to force it. Horlock shot. Wasn't a bad effort from that range. Good movement here off the ball by Swindon. Nice little lay-off then from Much, but Horlock's shot was always going wide. Thompson beaten to it for just about the first time tonight as Heggs flicked it on to Taylor. Hamilton dispossessed by Robinson. Now Ling. It's a good bold run forward by Ling. At this late stage of the game, that was a very fine surge forward. But Beecham took too long to make the cross. Still an opportunity. A Scott header is a little bit too gentle to trouble Stuart Naylor. Still probing for a weakness. Beecham turning it in. He did well to make the header from that angle, but Naylor was never going to be beaten. And that proves to be the final action of, frankly, a disappointing night at the county ground. Handshakes between two old pals, John Gorman and Keith Birkinshaw. West Brom will be pleased to have got a point out of this. Keith Scott will be disappointed that he didn't convert the best opening of the game for Swindon, but I think a draw was a fair result in the end. Swindon Town still haven't conceded a goal at home. The final score, Swindon 0, West Bromwich Albion 0.
So 3 games, 2 points. Keith Birkinshaw, what's the manager's verdict?
Well, it's not too bad really. We had to fight like hell on both occasions to get that point. We didn't play too well at Wolverhampton and let ourselves down a little. But Swindon's not easy to come to. Luton's not easy to go to and get a point, and we've done that. I think the disappointing thing, possibly from our point of view, is that we're not scoring goals. But today could have been a different story. We might have had 3 or 4, Swindon might have had 3 or 4. And I would think to the uncommitted, it was a fair game to watch.
We should have, had a couple of goals. I thought we definitely should have had a penalty. I'd like to see it on the telly. I'm not going to complain too much until you see it. When you're on the bench, obviously, it looks a definite penalty. There's no way that the lad dived, and there's no way that the lad won the ball. How did you see it? I would like to know. I think it was a definite penalty, but for some reason we don't get them. And I think if we get the goal then, we win comfortably.
Tell me, is the First Division harder than you thought?
No, nothing. Why should it be that? We've had worse results than that when we were in the First Division. We used to get beaten. We'd get beaten in a night like that. When we couldn't score against opposition, they would break away and nick the winner. We're playing better now, we're much more solid, and I'm very pleased with it. And we'll win a lot more matches than lose playing like that tonight.
So how much a handicap or burden is having to play away?
Well, I suppose people look at the table and they say, aye, West Brom there, 3 games, 2 points. And other teams that have got maximum points at home and not done so well away, they're saying, well, they look as though they're going to do well this season. So we've got to put up with that, the criticism that we'll have. We've just got to fight as hard as we can. It's not going to be easy. We've got particularly hard games away from home. Swindon's not easy after they've been in the Premier League last season. We've got Millwall and we've got Middlesbrough to come. So it's not going to be easy at all. All we can do is roll us.
Balls weren't flowing. Swindon defender Sean Taylor was fortunate not to score an own goal. Swindon's strike force, led by Jan Fjortoft, who signed a new 4-year contract, lacked a cutting edge. Joey Beecham's centre found Taylor, but his header was easy for goalkeeper Stuart Naylor. It's not surprising players get frustrated with referees when penalty claims like this one are waved away. Beecham the striker, Neil Parsley the relieved defender. But near the end, Swindon had only themselves to blame. A neat move gave Keith Scott a wonderful opportunity, but he was wide of the mark, and so it finished goalless.
To 20 minutes, but the goal was disallowed for offside. Joey Beecham's claim for a penalty also went unrewarded after the new signing was tripped in the box. It was a